Hi, Clifford. Uh, your hands are up, your digital hands are up, so you can go ahead, please. I don't think, I don't think Clifford is aware, so I will proceed to share my screen. Kindly, if my screen is visible or if you can see it, please with
Uh,
a
Hello, please. I was
yes.
speaking, but it wasn't coming through.
Okay, sure, you can go ahead, please.
Yes. So first of all, I would like to say thank you, and we enjoyed the program very well. It has been insightful so far. But then, there's this. I think it has already been said, but just to throw uh, light on it, in the sense that we would really appreciate we referencing the recordings so far that we've been promised on. So just wanted to remind all of us that we would love that so that we can all just get back to that and go through some of the things we might have missed. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. With regards to the recordings, it would surely be made available. So you don't have to worry at all. It would be made available as soon as possible. So be rest assured that you would get the recordings. Aside that, does anyone else have anything to say? So we begin. Okay, so then I would start with today's model. So today's model is about threat intelligence. So when we talk of threat intelligence, first of all, let's break it down into two parts. Okay, we have threats and then we have intelligence. Now, in cybersecurity, let me say when all of us got started in cybersecurity, we came across the CIA model, the CIA triad. We came across risk, threat, vulnerability, and all that. So now we're trying to study threat intelligence. If we take threat as let me say, a word or a cybersecurity term, um, anyone can actually unmute and then give us what they think about what a threat is. Then this will just be a very, very quick something. Okay, someone is unmuted. Uh, I think someone unmuted just now. You can go ahead, please.
Good evening, everybody. Please, it was a mistake. I just joined the group just now and I accidentally just clicked on the mute button. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sure, Paul. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you very much. Sorry.
You're welcome. So basically, we know that threats, exploit vulnerabilities. Once there is a vulnerability in a system, in a network, uh, even in human beings, we have vulnerabilities, and then threats constantly find ways and then means to exploit those vulnerabilities. In humans, we can put it to the fact that we are vulnerable in terms of how we think, um, as the psychological part of us, in terms of being vulnerable to social engineering attacks. So that is for the human side of it. Now, we've talked about threats. Now, intelligence too is basically you knowing something, you having that kind of knowledge, you getting that kind of, let's say, concept behind something. I would refer to intelligence as that. So now let's try to merge both threat and then intelligence. So now we know that a threat exploits a vulnerability, and then intelligence is basically having the knowledge about something. So in simple terms, threat intelligence is simply knowing or having that kind of knowledge about, threats. Okay, anything that exploits a vulnerability, it causes risk. Okay, please, does that make sense? Okay, okay, Beatrice, I see you. Okay, so now threat intelligence gives I and then you, like let me say, please, am I audible? I think my network got switched.
You're very
If
audible.
you
I
can
can
hear
hear
me,
you very
please.
well.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
can
sure.
hear you
Thank
very
you very much, Paul. Everyone on this platform, everyone on this meeting today, we representing ourselves as security analysts, right? It gives us that kind of understanding about even not even recent threats. Okay, we can base them as the ones that are already passed and gone. Even there are some threats that are passed, but then they are still taking effect today. We can base it on them. We can also base it on potential ones to come. So what lies ahead? What do we expect, in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, in the next 10 years? How would our threat landscape be? Okay. So it gives us that kind of good understanding so that we can proactively defend against it, because you can't defend what you don't know. Okay, unless you have that understanding, that knowledge, that intelligence about how that thing works, you wouldn't be able to, defend against it if it will cause damage. I hope it makes sense. So
Yes.
let's, okay, so let's, thank you, Cyber Chief, I see you. Thank you, Shatamoni, I see you. Okay, so let's continue. Uh, okay, so what are our objectives for today's meeting? Main objective is to talk about one, information sources, and then two, threat intelligence services. Under information sources, we need to evaluate information sources used to communicate emerging network security threats. So the threats that we need to get that kind of intelligence about, where do they come from? Where do we get that kind of intelligence from? That kind of we know that, oh, okay, this is some kind of a potential threat ahead. Where do we get to know that this is what is happening? This is what is happening in China. This is what is happening in US, in Ghana, in Nigeria, wherever we are in the country or in the world. How do we get to know? So those are our information sources. Then we also describe the various threat intelligence services out there. So moving on, let's talk about the information sources. So now we can see various network intelligence communities here. We have SANS, we have MITRE, we have FIRST, we have Security News. Well, I think I have to share my full screen so that, of course, we'll be using the browser a lot. Please. I'm trying to share my full screen, please. Please, if my full screen is visible enough, you can indicate with a thumbs up so that we get going. Oh, it's not visible. Oh, okay, Abdul, I see you. Okay. So we can see various intelligence communities here. We have SANS, we have MITRE, we have FIRST, we have Security Newswire, ISC Squared, and then CIS. Now, looking at all these organizations, right, I'm sure some are very familiar, and then as well as others are really not familiar. But okay, let's start from SANS. I hope everyone has heard about SANS. If you have, you can just indicate with a thumbs up. Okay, Victor, I see you. Now let's check on, okay, Cyber Chief, I see you. Oh, I see you. Okay. Let's check on MITRE. What about MITRE? Okay, Victor, I see you. Cyber Chief, I see you. First. So first is simply the forum of incident response and then security teams. Okay, that's the full meaning of first. I think it hasn't been heard of. Okay, what about security news? Wow. I think that also hasn't been heard of. I think ISC squared, almost everyone knows about ISC squared, right? Because of their various, yeah, I can see the reactions, Vanessa, I see you. And what about CIS, Center for Internet Security? Okay. Oh, okay, Vanessa, you haven't heard of it. Okay. Okay, so let's start from SANS. Okay. So now all these communities, right? These are sources of intelligence. Okay, in terms of if you are talking about threat intelligence, right? These organizations are our network. It is, so if let's say we need, they are not just limited to these organizations, right? Other organizations are there, you know, open source forums are there, but in terms of this course, we are limiting it to these organizations, and then they serve as communities, you know, in the cybersecurity landscape that help us, you know, get that kind of intelligence that we need to actively or proactively defend against emerging threats. Okay, if that sounds good, or if that's understandable, you can indicate with a thumbs up. Okay, I see you all. Okay, sure. So let's start with SANS. SANS Institute resources. So I'm reading from what I'm seeing here. SANS Institute resources are largely free upon request, and then those include, so SANS simply means sysadmin, okay, and then the A means audit. We have network, and then we also have security, okay. Now they offer different types of so let's do it this way. It's like a big organization, or an we have an umbrella, right? That all these, so let me try, and then yes, all these options are under this umbrella of SANS. Okay, so we have the internet storm center, the news bites, at risk, the flash security alerts, reading room, and then we all know that SANS also develops cybersecurity courses and then certification programs. Okay, but let's start with the internet storm center, which they define as the popular internet early warning system. Okay, but when we talk about internet storm center, right, it's right now we know that SANS is what the main umbrella, right? And then we know that internet storm center is like an option under SANS. But within internet storm center too, we have something called the D shield. Okay. There's the D shield there. Now, the D shield is under this internet. Oh, okay, sure. It's under this internet storm center. And then what it does is to collect log data. When we talk of log data, you think of, if you want to perform reconnaissance, or if you want to, before you can be able to gain access into a system, or before you can be able to even exploit a system, if you don't know about the system, you can never, achieve your aim. You first need to learn about how the system works, how the network works. You can't just stand up and say, oh, okay, I know that in this bank, this is where they keep their secrets. You first have to perform some kind of investigations, right? So those are the log data we are talking of. All those port scans, if you have some fair idea about ethical hacking, before anything, you first need to perform some reconnaissance to discover your network surface, or let me say your attack surface, okay? Wherever there's an open port, or anywhere that an attacker can be able to penetrate through the network, they first need to discover those kind of entry points or the attack vectors. Okay, so those are the port scans, the all those scans that we make against network systems, to discover the vulnerable services they hold before it can be exploited. Right. So this D-Shield collects all those log data, and then it makes meaning out of it for everyone, and then it names it as what? Threat intel. Okay. So when it becomes threat intel, that is when Internet Storm Internet Storm Center brings it out as an internet early warning system. So it's warning you that what, based on these logs that we've collected, based on these port scans, because you can learn a lot about what attackers are doing on your network by collecting all these logs, failed brute force attacks. You can collect all these, and it can help to map out like a big picture about what the threat landscape looks like in this current world. Please, am I making sense? I think I'm not making sense. Okay, I see you, Stratamoni. I see you, Cyber Chief. Or okay, I see you, Victor. It seems like it's just 4 people on this meeting. Am I am I wrong or am I right? I can't see the the session to see. Okay, I can see you, Dami. Caleb, I can see you. Okay. Uh Imisioluwa. I hope I got the name correct. Okay, I can see you. Oh, okay. Sure. Thank you very much, Bello. I can see you as well. I think, Emmanuel, you have a question. Collins. Emmanuel, you can go ahead, please. Emmanuel, I see your hands up.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't meant to be raising of hands. It was to
Oh, okay.
respond to the fact that we are with you.
Oh, okay, sure. I think I saw instructor Lisa drop something. Can you come again? Oh, okay, sure. So what I was saying is that, let me minimize this. What I was saying is that SANS right here is a network intelligence community. And then under SANS, they have all these resources that are made publicly available, you see, to contribute to threat intelligence. Okay. Taking the Internet Storm Center, for example, is under SANS, but the Internet Storm Center doesn't it doesn't work on its own. Okay, it needs something to support it. It needs something to get data from. I hope you get it. And that's where D-Shield comes in. Now, the D-Shield I talked about is more of I need a simple word to use for that. So it's like you have people around the world, right, that are serving as volunteers for you. Okay. they are serving as volunteers for you, and then they are giving you that kind of log data. For instance, Victor has his company, his network security team, they've set up everything to collect logs. Almost each and every minute, second, microsecond, there are attacks, coming in here and there. So all these security systems log all these, making patterns. It means that you are performing an active reconnaissance, on someone's network, which is not allowed. It means that you have some kind of, thoughts set in place to try to infiltrate into the network. So all these logs, brute force attempts, all these things are taken and then submitted. So this shield takes all these log data, right? And then the Internet Storm Center now analyzes this data and then gives it out as an internet early warning system. So it's like it's trying to tell us that, oh, today this is how the weather is. Tomorrow, this is how the weather will be in terms of cybersecurity threats. So right now, this is how our threat landscape is. In some time to come, this is how our threat landscape would be. I hope that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much. So let's go on with News Bites. So News Bites is a weekly digest of news articles about computer security. So anything news, just go to News Bites. Anything about computer security, that's just what News Bites does under SANS organization. I think I opened it up. Let me see. News Bites, News Bites, News Bites. Yes, it's this. So this is how the page looks like. Okay. So here we've been given some kind of an understanding about what they do. They give us executive summaries of the most important cybersecurity news articles published recently. Okay, so that is just about the news bites section under SANS. You can see sans.org, under newsletters, there's news bites. So anything you want under news, you can get it over here. You can see this was published on 14th October. This was on 10th October, and then it ranges, in that form. Okay, if you want to search for anything as well, you can just go ahead and then type it in, and then you can be able to get that kind of information you need. So let me get back to so at risk. Yes, okay. So they tell us that it's what? A weekly digest of newly discovered attack vectors, vulnerabilities with active exploits, and then explanations of how those recent attacks worked. I think they also have a dedicated site for it. Okay. So what it just tells us is that they give us a weekly summary. So every week, like what was discovered newly, what new things were discovered about our attack vectors, about vulnerabilities that have active exploits. I hope you get the concept. I think I opened it up to the at risk. Let me see. So basically the Internet Storm Center to this is their history. I think I have to copy and then paste this into the chat box. But okay, I think it's already available to you, right? Or I should paste the links into the comment section. I hope I'm audible. Okay, Victor says I'm audible. Okay,
Yes, you
okay.
have it.
Caleb says you have it already. Yeah, because I'm sure it will be part of the course outline. So Yes, and then there's also the flash security alerts. Now, to keep things going, I can see that time is really fast spent. There's also the reading room that is made up of 1,200 award-winning original research papers. So anything about research, the reading room under SANS organization does that. And then we also know that what SANS develops cybersecurity courses and then, certification programs and all that. Now, MITRE, they tell us that what they maintain a list of CVE used by prominent security organizations. But now we've heard about two different points, MITRE and then CVE. What are they? Okay, so MITRE is how do I even put it? They are an organization, right? That are like sponsored in the US. So the US organization or the US as a nation sponsors MITRE as an organization, right? To create and then maintain some kind of should I say a vault or a dictionary or let's put it as something that you can contain anything in it, right? I want to get I want to put it out so clearly. Okay, so they develop and then maintain those catalogs, and then what's inside those catalogs? They are just security threats. Okay, so there's this security threat here in China. There's one in Ghana. It's about this and that. It's about a Trojan. It's about a ransomware. All of that, they group it and then put it into one catalog. Okay. Now it's not just that. We've heard of CVE as well. What are CVEs? CVEs are common vulnerabilities and then exposures. Okay, and then they serve as the dictionary of common names for publicly known vulnerabilities. So we know that, okay, there was this vulnerability that got exploited maybe somewhere in China, somewhere in Ireland, and then this was the let's say they've given us a proof of concept about it and all that. But we can't just say that, oh, okay, this happened here. They use this method to infiltrate the network. They use the Trojan, they use the backdoor and all that. So what MITRE does with the CVE is to give a common name to all these threats. Okay, they create and then maintain that catalog whereby they put in those CVEs. So the CVEs basically changes the names of all known vulnerabilities, right? Giving it some kind of simple way to research, simple way to get to know about what was actually contained in that. If it was a vulnerability, yes, then you can know more about it. If it was an active exploit, you can know more about it. So that's just what MITRE does. Now, let's look at FIRST as well. I told you earlier on that FIRST is the Forum of Incident Response and then Security Teams. But then what do they do? Let's see. It's a security organization that brings together a variety of computer security incident response teams. So we've heard that what they bring together a variety of computer incidents response teams, IRTs, right? From governments, commercial, and then educational organizations to foster cooperation and then coordination in information sharing, incident prevention, and then rapid reaction. So they are also another network intelligence community on their own. Okay, and then this particular community, they are some kind of a standalone kind of thing because they have over 800 members, okay, spread all over the world, right? And then they always help in submitting active exploits, right? And then emerging threats to this organization I've just talked about, okay, so that we can be able to effectively respond to these threats in real time, not just in real time, but then to proactively respond to them. Because we all know that if we depend on like real-time data, then like where are we going to? What are we, we can't predict what will happen in 2030, 2035. Then like it means that we are completely shattered, right? So they help us to proactively protect ourselves, defend ourselves against emerging threats. Security Newswire also is a security news portal that aggregates the latest breaking news. So just like how where is it? Where is it? Where is it? How NewsBites is for SANS. They also aggregate the latest breaking news and then exploits as well as vulnerabilities. ISC Squared provides vendor-neutral educational products and then career services to more than 75,000 industry professionals in more than 135 countries. We can all attest to the fact that ISC Squared is an organization that is really doing a lot in terms of cybersecurity education. Okay. Now, CIS. I initially told you that CIS was the Center for Internet Security, right? So let's see what they also do. It tells us that they are a focal point for cyber threat prevention. So what we need to note here is what threat prevention, protection, response, and then recovery. Just keep this in your head. Okay, prevention, protection, they respond to it and then they recover from it. And then they do this for SLTT governments. SLTT. Let me try and see. SLTT. Okay, let's just continue. I wanted to see if I could remember the full meaning, because it's like states, local, something. The TTs is I've basically forgotten about that, but they do it through the MSISAC that offers 24/7 cyber threat warnings and then advisories, vulnerability identification, and then mitigation with incident response as well. Now, we talked about prevention, protection, response, and recovery, right? And then you do this through the ISAC. Let's take it ISAC. Okay. Now, ISAC is like a subsection of CIS. Okay, it's like a program that runs under CIS, and then they help states and the local governments, stop cyber threats before they kind of escalate. Okay, so like before, it's like thinking this way. Before you would think, I have thought. I hope you grab that. You grasp that concept. Before you think, I have thought. They are a section under CIS that do that for state and then local governments. Okay, they stop attacks before they actually start. Okay, Shatais, I see you. So we are basically done with this part. If there's any question, it can come in, please. Okay, I think Caleb, you dropped it. Yes, states. Let me check the comment section. State, local, tribal, and then territorial government. Okay, thank you very much. I just could remember the state, local. I forgot about the TT. Thank you very, very, very much, Caleb. So, is there any question with regards to the first part of this? Is there any question, please? If there's anything that you don't understand about these organizations, you can let me know so that I take it again. If not, you can just indicate with let me see which emoji. A thumbs up. Okay, let's use a thumbs up so that we continue. Time is fast spent. Okay. Sure. I see all of you. Okay. So this is the continuation of the network intelligence. Okay, I see all of you. Network intelligence communities. Now, we are being told that to remain effective, a network security professional. Now, they are talking to me, they are talking to you, they are talking to each and everyone on this call. Okay, what must we do? We must keep abreast of the latest threats, and then we must also continue to upgrade our skills. Why are we being told this? Attackers are evolving day in, day out. They are bringing different kinds of, right now, artificial intelligence is even helping them to, refine their their ways and their means, their tactics. Okay. So right now it's been difficult, it's been hard to detect or to determine what they want actually. Okay, so because of this, we must keep abreast to the latest threats out there. But how do we do this? We must do this by what? Routinely pursuing security-related websites. So there are websites, there are blogs, there are podcasts, and then more. That I think Cisco Talos has a podcast like that you can listen to various discussions about latest threats. You can also follow security blogs as well. There is this blog channel. There is, I think, is it Ethical Hackers Academy? Uh, there is, yes. And then cybersecurity news is there. Personally, I also follow GB Hackers, their websites for current, latest, or let me say, sorry, current and the latest are the same, right? So for those kind of latest threats. And then to continue, we need to always upgrade our skills. We need to always upgrade our skills because imagine threat actors, the black hat hackers, they are always refining their ways and their means to exploit our network. So we must also we must even step ahead of them. Our skills must overshadow theirs. I hope you get it. So this includes attending security-related training, workshops, and then conferences. You see, there's some kind of exposure about workshops and then conferences in such a way that if, let's say, you are learning about something, right? It's different in a certain way that if you sit to listen to other people talk about it, it sounds like it sounds interesting. Not only that, but it helps you to, like it opens up your mind. Okay. Such security related trainings and then workshops as well as conferences helps us to grasp new concepts, new threats, or like what is really happening in our cyber threat landscape. What is really happening out there? You can't know everything. That's why there's these network intelligence communities, right? To help us get the understanding, to help us know that, oh, okay, this is what is happening here, this is what is happening there, because each and every one is making a collective effort, right? If organization A in Ghana says, oh, okay, I'm submitting my security logs to you, another organization in Nigeria is submitting theirs, in Europe, in everywhere, they're submitting it to a central platform to help us visualize this threat in real time so that we can tell that, oh, okay, this is what is happening. Because, for instance, take your country, let's say Ghana and then Nigeria, for instance. Threats that are actively exploiting us would be different from that which is exploiting maybe somewhere in Asia, Europe. You see that kind of thing. So if we get those data from all those kind of data points, we can be able to, get that kind of mindset, that kind of visualized platform to know that, oh, okay, this is what is happening here. So this is what I have to do to defend myself. I won't wait for them. They've already, let's just put an example that they've already gotten a new means to exploit maybe HTTPS protocol, port 443, right? We won't wait to say, oh, okay, then if they come here, the work of the network intelligence community is to provide us with what? Threat intel. That's what we talked about at the first stage. Here, threat intelligence. That's what they provide us with so that we can be better informed and then proactively defend ourselves against these emerging threats. Now, we have to note that network security has a very steep learning curve and it requires commitment and then continuous professional development. So we can also achieve this through various online platforms. I think ISC Squared has a free, I think they have some free training, professional training development I don't know if it's for just members or non-members are also considered, because I recently subscribed to one of them. It's like courses you take for professional development. Okay, so you can check it out. I just don't know if it's just for members or it's for all let me say everyone per se. Are we good to go from here, please?
Yes, yes, we're good to
Okay,
go. Thank you.
okay. Thank you very much. So, Cisco cybersecurity reports. Resources to help security professionals stay abreast of, okay, Caleb, I see you. Stay abreast of the latest threats are the Cisco annual cybersecurity report and the mid-year cybersecurity report. But then what are these reports? I think I have, let me check. Cisco cybersecurity. So this is one of them. So this is for 2025, right? And then it tells us that what readiness remains flat as AI transforms the industry. Artificial intelligence is just, it's just massive. That's how we are being told that if you are saying you will not adapt to AI, then you can go your way, because those who adapt to it are those that are going for what's in the future. You can't say you are going without artificial intelligence. Like, where are you going to? You see, so this is their annual cybersecurity report, right? This is for 2025. You can see the so it's this is the you can see the executive summary, the benchmarking, readiness, identity. So they've basically grouped everything out for you to easily navigate through the documents, right? And I'm sure you have this as well. I'm sure to be provided in the lab, sorry, in the course. So this is just an example of how it looks like. So let's go back. Yes, so these reports provide an update on the state of security preparedness. How prepared are we? Like, how prepared are we out of 100%? Are we 50% prepared? Are we 75% prepared? How are we prepared enough to face emerging threats? Then they also provide expert analysis of top vulnerabilities and then factors behind explosion of vulnerabilities using hardware, spam, and then more. And then when we talk of hardware and then spam, recently I've come across so much of this hardware and then spamware. They are, it's like right now our cybersecurity threat landscape is gradually changing. And then when you check, you could see that Africa, we are very vulnerable. Seriously, we are very, very vulnerable. Because I came across I think a report, was it a report or a publication this morning that said, I think I have it here. Let me check. I didn't close that tab. I'm sure. This is Cisco Talos. I don't think. So Cisco Talos blog is also another platform you can use to, get latest updates about security news and then all that. I think I closed that up. So what happened was that it was a report about a certain TikTok video. Okay, there are these videos out there that tell us that if you want to uh, bypass and then get Photoshop for free, you can be able to get it. You can be able to activate it. You can be able to activate your Windows operating system you can be able to do this and that. And then the report from that organization said it's also just like as we talked about SANS and all that, it's also an organization like that. They analyzed it, and then you see they will ask you to execute a PowerShell code inside this thing inside Windows PowerShell as an administrator. So already they've elevated their privileges. You are running it as an administrator. Now listen, what the code does is that that specific website that you are using to let me say you're accessing that website to how do I even put it, to bypass that kind of restriction they've given to you. You've not subscribed to this product, you want to get it for free, fine, but think about what's behind it. Black man who go do, black man who go think about all that, you know. And then what this did was that if you check the kind of artifacts with that relates to that particular website, you could see that this is this is a threat actor that is actively exploiting people on TikTok. Immediately you execute that command, right? You are already connected to their command and control center. Then various files on your system is modified. Various, even more malicious programs are transferred onto your device without your knowledge. But as a normal user, you wouldn't see all this. You just see that, oh, okay, I've been able to activate my Photoshop. Let's go. I've been able to activate my Windows. Let's go. I have no problem. But if you don't have that kind of security mindset to maybe check your process explorer, to check your task manager, like what is really happening, sometimes they could install what do they call it, a crypto miner, sorry, and it will be using your machine's resources. Now to get to a certain point in time, you realize that small time your machine is running down on power. Small time is running down on power. What's really wrong? But you don't know that they are really using your resources to mine cryptocurrency, because you are not you don't have that kind of security insight. And it's just so sad. It's just so sad. So that is just about the hardware and then spamware. Now, security analysts should also subscribe to and then read these reports to learn how threat actors are targeting their networks. And then, okay, Victor, I see you. And then what can be done to mitigate these threats? So you must, threat intelligence, to be able to get that kind of understanding, to get that intelligence, right? It's based on reading. It's like in normal school, if you don't read, you will not pass. Unless maybe you ask someone in the exam, so if you don't get that kind of intelligence, you are not going to pass. And then in this scenario, if you don't get that kind of threat intel from these reports, you are going to stay behind. Attackers will have the front seat always. Please, I hope this part is clear. If it is, no. If it's not, you can indicate with a thumbs down. That's what I want, because if I say if it is, no one would indicate with. Okay, Lisa says it is. So if it's not clear, you can indicate with a thumbs down. I think it's clear. Let's go on. Okay, thank you very much, Inshata Lisa. So information sources, so just where we get our threat intel from, where we can get that kind of intelligence about emerging threats. We can talk of security blogs and then podcasts. I told you about the Cisco Talos. I think I have a tab open here. So when you come here, you can see the podcast section. Takes podcast. So you can get this information on Talos, and then you see you can subscribe to it from here, Apple Podcast, Spotify. But if you want to get it, you just let them try playing this.
Yeah, we definitely all care about that. And also, fun fact,
So you see, you can just follow all these to get that kind of exposure, or to get that latest security updates out there. So we have been told that, let me drag this, that another method for keeping up to date with latest threats is to read blogs, of which I talked about, yes, and then podcasts. So blogs and then podcasts, I think I've talked about all this. They provide advice, research, and they recommend mitigation techniques. There are various or several security blogs out there, and then we should know about all of them because they give us latest threats, vulnerabilities, and then exploits. So Cisco tell us, yes, exactly. That was just what I showed to you just now. This. So they talked about that as well. And then they are telling us to search for Cisco security blogs to locate them. We can also subscribe to receive notifications from for these blogs by email. Cisco Talos also offers series of over 80 podcasts. So I basically talked about all this, right? If I did, you can indicate with a thumbs up so we continue. Oh, wow, let me. Oh, okay, I'm now seeing the thumbs up. Okay, I see. Oh, it seems like it's just 3 people on the call. I'm not able to see the. Okay, Eric, I see you. Okay, Collins, Collins. I see you. Beat, I see you. Gabriel. Okay, sure. That means I'm audible. Okay, Instructor Esther, I see you. Vanessa, I see you. Okay, let's proceed then. So we have a lab here that is based on research. So I think there are 2 labs. I think one is at the end. Let me check. There's another one here. So let's take this first one. But because of time, I would just take the first part of it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. We are being told to research cybersecurity intelligence reports and also research about cybersecurity intelligence based on industry, and then research about cybersecurity threat intelligence in real time. Now, we'll just take part 1, okay? Just because of time, we'll just do for part 1. Let me let me uh, think I have this. Where would reports? Okay, this is the web root report. So let me drag that into what is this? Okay, so let's just take this real quick. So the background about universities have entered remote learning. Even companies have adopted workspace. So what are some of the additional cybersecurity risks that are moving along with this? So everything comes along with its own risk. Once there's comfort, there would always be risk. What are new trends in ransomware? And then most organizations lack the trained personnel to keep up with the cybersecurity threat. So this should even tell us something as security analysts. Okay, each and every one is involved. Most organizations lack the trained personnel. So if we want to get that kind of exposure, we need to always stay ahead. We need to, read these blogs. We need to subscribe to these newsletters and then, know what's happening currently. So yes, to keep up with the cybersecurity threat landscape in real time, as I said, So as a result, some companies rely on cybersecurity threat intelligence reports to help them better understand and then prevent cybersecurity threats. Like I said, if you know what's happening in China, you can protect yourself before it gets to Ghana, before it gets to Nigeria. There are a number of companies and then government agencies that offer real-time, high quality cyber threat information. Oh, who is calling? Please hold on. Okay, so let's continue. So we can get access to this data, but then it will require us to pay a subscription fee, not us. We're talking about the organizations, right? So some of the data can be open source, and then some too can be, So it can be open source, and it can be publicly available for all of us. Let's just keep this. Come back to research cybersecurity threat intelligence reports. So here we are to download this document, right? 2020 Web Root Threat Report, US final, blah, blah, blah. So we are being asked the question, based on their findings, where does malware typically hide on a Windows PC? Now, this is the report. Okay, let me make this big. This is the report. This is the report, okay. You see, Web Root Threat Report. And then this is the table of contents we'll talk about. And we are not going to talk about though, but this is what the PDF talks about, right? It talks about the perspective behind this malware, ransomware, high-risk URL. So it's just all about threats, okay? Then getting to the end, we talk about the awareness training and then all that. Let's just keep this. So you can see from here, trends in malware, where affects, where it hides, URLs. I talked about cryptojacking, you see, phishing attacks, malicious IPs, sources of ransomware, and mobile app threats, and then how they are evolving. But remember, we were asked this question that based on their findings, where does malware typically hide on a PC? So let's just go straight to the point. Let's see, this is about malware. So this is the threat landscape, okay? Looking at this, you can see that threats are very high. Okay, not that high, but as compared to US, Africa, we are we are lacking behind. Okay, we are very, very much exposed, but not exposed as how the Middle East is exposed. Okay, so you can see from here that North America and then even UK and then Australia, they are very, very much safe from these threats. But which of us are lacking? South America. Oh, okay, sure. South America, Africa, going through these areas. We can get a detailed report about it from here. Now, what we were looking for, where malware typically hides, right? Now, we are being told that 85% of threats hide in one of four locations: temporary, app data, patch, and then Windows directory. So these symbols you see here are just placeholders, okay? So if you make a search, or if you want a specific location and then you use, or let me put it this way, if you want to navigate to a certain directory, right, and then you don't really know the path, this gives you that kind of ease, okay, to get to your final destination. Now the temporary folder just holds temporary files, okay. App data is just about app configurations. cache, when we talk of cache, browser cache, things that are just temporary. And then Windows directory, or let me say WinDIR is basically where your operating system has been installed to, right? So now we know that 85% of them hide in this, that, and then that. But let's just take it on a bit. So you see, threat intel is just about reading, right? It might sound boring, okay, but this is what threat intelligence expects from us, okay. If you get that, just indicate with a thumbs up. If I'm not making sense to you, can indicate with a thumbs down, please. Okay, Victor, I see you. Cyber Chief, I see you. Eric, Vanessa, okay, sure. I think someone is talking. Okay, I saw a thumbs down.
Wallahi kuni ɗaya ke ɗaya ba yi wanda ke kula da ni shi kenan nan ɗin ramin nan ke na matsala ne.
Sulayam, please, are you here? Are you do you want to ask a question or okay, so Tommy Hefzeba, did I get that? Please, you can unmute and then ask your question, please. If you have any question up to this point.
Can you come again the last thing you mentioned?
Please, with regards to, is it about this?
The threat, you mentioned something about threat now. I didn't hear you. My network went off. Can you come again?
Okay, so the first question in the lab was asking us to review this PDF, that's the 2020 Web Root Threat Report. Okay. Your phone is about shutting. Okay, sure. Okay, Paul. And we are to note where malware hides. Okay. And then we've come to see that 85% of threats, so threats being malware, okay, they hide in one of 4 locations on a Windows device. So this is just Windows, okay. The temporary folder, updater, cache, and then WinDIR. And I was explaining that the temp holds temporary files and folders. The updater is just about app configuration files. The cache, cache is not really, we can't specify it to be one kind of thing. But if we talk about browser cache, it's just the temporary aspect of that. And then the WinDIR is for anything with regards to your Windows operating system. So your Windows operating system files, everything is contained in that. But let's just come to this point, right? I think someone is speaking. Sulayam, please, do you have a question?
I was having bad network issues. So please,
okay.
Please can you...
Please come again.
Yes, sir. So I wanted to request so that you can please come again a little bit because I was having bad network issues.
Okay, sure.
Area.
All right. So I was saying that the first question, you are welcome. Sorry, let me back. Where is this? Yes, so the first question asks us to indicate where malware typically hides on a Windows PC, right? So we've reviewed the document from start, but then we just need where the malware hides, right? And from here, we can see that malware is everywhere, but then the system locations in which it hides can differ between consumer and then business PCs. Now, let's just keep this plain text, okay? It has been boldly stated that 85% of those threats that's being malware, they hide in one of 4 locations. That's this, in the temporary folder, updater, the cache, and then the WinDIR. Okay, and I was saying that this symbol here just helps us to automatically know the path to the file. Okay, because sometimes you might be using drive C, drive D, so it just helps Windows to automatically, know what you are talking about and then give you that file path you want. So moving on, we are told that the temporary folder holds, accounts for 54%. So almost 54%. We know that 85% of threats are already here. And then now 54% of this 85 is what is on is through this temporary folder. Okay. And then we have been told also that temporary folder is twice as likely to be a hiding spot for business PC infections as for consumer PCs. So most threats or malware hide and then execute in this folder. I hope you get that. If you get that, you can indicate with a thumbs up. Okay, I see you, instructor Lisa. Okay, Ezeba. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, sure. Okay, Vanessa, Cyber Chief, I see you. All right. So there is good news actually. It's not like now we know where malware hides, so we can, okay, Margaret, I see you. We can't do anything about it. We can do something about it as security analysts, okay? Because always we must be one step ahead of these attackers. We are being told here that it's easy to set up a Windows policy to prevent these programs from running from the temporary directory. Okay, so now to just keep this short and then practical, we just we are being told that they execute from this temporary directory, but we don't know the exact path. Let's check the local security policy. Should I run as administrator? No, let me run as normal user. So this software, right, or let me say an app on this Windows machine helps us to define rules and then policies for our local system. Okay, so based on the saying that this temporary folder holds more of, it houses malware and they execute from that particular directory, why not block it from happening? Why not saying that, oh, okay, if malware would be executed in that directory, then I'm going to set a rule to say that I'm not allowing any exe file from executing from that particular point. So that's where the local security policy comes in. Okay, so on the Windows system, it just helps us to define rules and then policies for our local system. So here we just come to the application control policies and then we use the app locker. So this will help us to by name app locker. It should give us some kind of, let me try again. So this app locker will help us to set that rule to prevent any malicious software from executing in the temporary folder. And then it's a good way to harden your Windows device, okay? Windows hardening, this is one of the good ways and it means to harden your PC, as a security analyst. Please hold on. Okay, so where is this? Yes, so now we come to the executable rules, right? I have even already set a rule there. So if you want to do this, you just right click, right? And then you go to new, create new rule. Okay. Then you'll be given some wizard, stories there, install, blah, 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 click next. So next, then this is what really matters. Now our action here is to deny. We are not going to allow any software from executing from that temporary folder. So we will deny it. Okay, then we are denying it for everyone, anyone using this PC. Whether user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, anyone, this rule apply for everyone. Okay, so we just leave this as it is. Then we click on next. Then we specify the path. So you can see you can specify a publisher. I've never used this. I always use the path. Okay. And you can also specify a file hash. to create, so you can create a rule for an application that is not signed, blah blah. But then we need this part, okay, because you are being told that it's on the, that's why they use that percentage symbol, right? So we select the path, we click on next. So now to specify the path, now where do we find that specific path on our Windows PC? You know, Windows is such let me say, some kind of a file system that, you know, there are so many files, folders hidden in each other. So you might find it difficult, you know, maybe you know that you have a drive C. What am I doing? Why is this thing not working? So I'm just giving an example. As you know, you have a drive C, and inside your drive C, you have this folder, this folder, this folder, before you get to this folder. Just an example, okay? If you say you are browsing files or folders like this, you can't be able to get root files, okay? Files that are only accessible with, oh, sorry, I'm talking in terms of Linux. You can't get files that need elevated privileges, okay? So let's use command prompts, right? Now, sorry. Yeah, we know that the path is what? This with TE, no, let's make it TEMP. So to get the exact location, we can use this command and it will return us that specific location where we can get the temporary folder. Please, are you following? Let me make a pause here. If there's any question, you can ask, please. If there's any question, anything at all, you can unmute and then ask your question. If you want to type it in the chat box
I
too.
have a
Okay.
question.
All right.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Can I go on?
Yes, please, Cyber Chief, you can go on.
So what's the, since you have this Windows security app now, so what's the usefulness of antivirus? That's number one question. Then number two question,
Okay.
as a cybersecurity technician, you know there are some executable files that you need to download from the internet, which means if you block this executable file now from this app now, you won't be able to download these files, or even if you succeed in downloading those files, you won't be able to play them. So please, can you explain that part?
Okay, so with regards to the antivirus software, there are antivirus softwares, right? Even your Windows Defender is there, but you know, malware is in such a way that sometimes they come like how there's a specific word used, obfuscated. Okay, you can't easily identify them, right? Even some can evade detection by antivirus programs. I hope you get that. So most of the times, it's not just about these, because there's sometimes you can run a complete scan, you will not find anything, but you use a different product, a different or maybe a stronger antivirus software, you can be able to, you know, identify that, oh, there were these malicious softwares that were running, and then you know you can see that so I used this software, I didn't see anything, so why am I now seeing all this? Then you can get to see that like threat actors wouldn't just say that, oh, they are sending you this payload. You see, they would think about how to like they don't want to be detected on your system. I hope you get that. So that's, and then with regards to Windows hardening, and then let's Windows hardening, Linux hardening, it's just a way of making sure that okay, some unnecessary things um are not allowed. Okay, it is when you get a Windows machine or a Linux system, there are already security let me say updates or security settings that have been made for you, right? But when you want to harden your device, there's some unnecessary things that shouldn't be, it wouldn't really cause harm. You see, you could just block it out from, working on your machine. Okay, so that is where Windows hardening comes in, Linux hardening comes in. When you talk of Linux, so let's say there are some unnecessary services running on your machine, let's say vulnerable services running. How can you have, let's say, your normal PC, you have let me use this protocol. Let's say you have FTP service running that is unauthenticated. It's just a security flaw, right? So we do all this to harden our device. I hope you get that. Was it Cyber Chief?
Yes, I get that. How about the downloading of exe files? Maybe the ones you need. And then for this one now, this one is an app. Can you compare it with Windows Defender's firewall? Are they performing similar tasks?
I didn't get your question. Please come again, okay? Please come again.
Okay, I said you should compare this app you are using now, this security app now, to Windows Defender firewall. Are they having the same task? Did they do the same thing? Your system, your Windows system.
Okay, so they they basically don't we can interlink them in a way, right? We can link them in a way, but for Windows Defender, right, it's your, let me say, your primary defender for your Windows system. Okay, so automatically Windows Defender is always running. It's always running, right? But what if malware is structured in a certain way to evade the detection of your Windows Defender? Do you think something like that can happen? Because think about it, that attackers are always evolving. They are always thinking of ways and means to infiltrate your network. And then one thing they care about most is that they want to maintain access. They don't want to be detected. They want to stay in there for long, try and then elevate their privileges step by step, step by step. But sometimes they could stay there for months just trying to see that this is what I can do so that I evade detection, I can get everything I want, and then exfiltrate files and all that. I hope you see. But with regards to the local security policy, it's like how a firewall works. A firewall, you set some kind of rules to allow or disallow, infiltration of, let's say, network packets into the network or out of the network. Okay, but local security policy applies to your Windows system. Okay, your local system, right? Your local system. It helps you define rules or policies. So I think there's something written about that. So you can see account policies, local policies, and application control policies. And then I hope you get that. Let me bring this back. Oh, sorry. Yes, so you can be able to assign policies with regards to application software. You can restrict some software using this particular tab. Public key policies, we are not even talking about that. There's even Windows Defender firewall. So even with Windows Defender, you can even tweak it within the local security policy. So now you can see that it even seems like you can even tweak Windows Defender with the local security policy executable. Am I making sense, Cyber Chief? Cyber Chief.
Yes, please. I've given you a thumbs up.
Oh, okay, sorry, I didn't see that. Yes. So that's just the reason why, because in the article, we are being told that most malware files execute in this temporary folder. And then this is just to keep temporary files. I hope you get it. We are just keeping, it's just for temporary files. So why should a malicious executable be executed from this particular folder? It's not meant for that. I hope you get it. It's just to keep temporary files. You see, so that's just the reason why we would need to harden our system, because it's even said in this article. Okay, it says what? There is good news. It's easy to set up a Windows policy to prevent programs from running from the temporary directory, regardless of whether they are malicious or benign. This is a good cyber hygiene and then should be coupled with user security awareness training, and it can go a long way to ensure protection. So you can see it boldly states it in the article, right? That it's a good way to harden our Windows machine to prevent malware from executing in this particular directory.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Emmanuel.
Sir, please, what's the name of this book or article? And then number two, what's the name of this program, the application?
Okay, so the name of this article is Web Root Threats Report US Final. This is it. This is the name. So immediately let me copy this. So I think it's in the model, or it's in the course model. So when you just search for this, you automatically, so that's the first thing that would appear. You see, so this is what I did, and then I got that. I hope you get it. And then with regards to the software you were talking about, it's how come I have to? Okay, so it's the local, it's the local security policy. So I said right now we are looking at Windows, a Windows system. Okay, the web boot security report, it gives us where is it? I saw a certain question. You can find the lab in, oh yeah, sure. Yes, it's actually uh, so this is the lab. Okay, so this is what we are working on now, right? This is it. And then, so this is where it has been stated boldly. Let me continue with so as I said, that the local security policy just helps us to define rules and then policies within a local system. So we didn't know the exact path for that temporary folder. That's why we came to command prompt to look for the temporary folder. Okay, and then it's telling us that it's in this particular directory, right? So we copy it and then paste it over here. But we want to disallow any executable from, executing from there. So what we'll do is to add this .exe. So what's this, is it ampersand or star? So what this does is to make sure that no matter the name, malware is in such a way that they all a malicious executables hash, and then another malicious executables hash. They are the same, but they have different names. So they come in different names just to, evade detection, but then they have the same hash. And then, one thing about hash is that immediately something changes about the executable, or if it's tampered with, that's the, how do I call it? In the CIA triad, that's the integrity, right? If anything is altered within the application, automatically you get a change in hash. So what we are doing here is to say that any name, right, that is used to is given to the malware application, obviously on the Windows system it would be .exe. Okay, sometimes they can try to evade detection and add more, maybe .exe, .pdf. but let's not talk about that. So we are just trying to limit it to .exe. We are just saying that, okay, if there's any executable from this is just for temporary files. So why would you execute something from here? Okay, obviously it's malicious. Okay, so that's just the policy we are trying to make here. So next, we've added it. Next, and then we create that policy. So I've already created one. That's why it shows two from here. So that's just okay. Someone is
Repeating that,
speaking.
eh?
Sulayam, are you asking a question, please?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, sure. So let's just continue with the lab. So let me so we've been able to see that 85% of the, let's check. But is he one thing about Cisco? It's telling us that what 25% of all infections on PCs are found here. Other common locations are this, that, and then that. But when we check the latest update, we could see that what it was 85%. Where is it? So I think it's somewhere here. We saw that it was 85%. You can see 85% of threats hiding all these, and then even 54% of it is 54% of the bad files are for business PCs, and then 28% are for consumer. Are for consumer PCs. But then the temporary folder is twice as likely to be hiding malicious softwares, right? So we've gotten an answer for that. Then, based on their findings, what are some trends in ransomware? So let's check their findings. Let's move on to ransomware. So ransomware trends. So you can see more recon. Attackers are focusing their efforts on learning about. So you see, it's all about learning. If you don't know your targets, you can't exploit them. If you know them enough, you can be able to know that this is their next move. You can be able to know that this is what if I do, I can't be able to, get full system access from them. Another trend is to raise ransom. Oh no. So okay, so the ransom is already there, but then the cost is what rising, it's increasing. Average ransom amount in 2019, it reached $41,000. Like, just encrypting people's files and then requesting for this amount of money. You can just see what threat actors are out there doing. So we need to be proactive about them. And then it also talks about higher stakes, shifting targets, and then so let's check what Cisco says. So ransomware is more often directed towards higher value and then weaker targets. Threat actors are using reconnaissance. So we talked about reconnaissance to identify targets that are more likely vulnerable. And then when they identify them, they encrypt their files and then request for big ransom. Please, are you following? Okay, Cyber Chief, I see you. Okay, Gabriel, I see you. Peter, I see you. Okay. Okay, so based on your findings, okay, Collins, I see you. What are the current trends in phishing attacks? So okay, Manu, I see you. Ajao, I see you. Okay, thank you very much. Where is phishing? Okay, so this is phishing attacks. So let's check the trends. So you can see from here that business email compromise is still not slowing down. It continues to be prevalent, and it's a type of email fraud that targets commercial, government, and non-profit organizations. And so I think we can talk about business email compromise being on the rise. And I think this should also tell us something, because in 2018, so we are talking about phishing attacks. Yes, phishing attacks. Last year, Google topped the list at 15%, followed by Microsoft, Dropbox, and then PayPal, blah, blah, blah. But when we look at this scenario, we could see that from 2018 to 2019, Facebook had an increase in phishing attacks. You see, 7.3% to 12.8%, and for Microsoft from 10 to 10.6%, Apple from 8.2 to 8.4%. Google had a decrease, and then PayPal had a decrease as well. Dropbox had a very, very much decrease. Chase as well. Okay, Chase one was non-available, and then so let's check from here. Phishing attacks. Okay, so the ability of the hacker to gain access to a person's email continues to so exactly, business email compromising emails. Then a payload may evade any email filtering. It may evade any email filtering, and the use of HTTPS on phishing sites has increased. We all think that if it's HTTP, then it's automatically malicious. But right now, HTTPS sites are even hosting malware more than HTTP, because they know that right now people know that what HTTP is malicious, or let me say it's not right to use. It transfers everything in plain text. Okay. So phishing attacks also seem to follow the public news about the company or release of a new product. So they are always on the move, impersonating new companies, including all these. You see. So let's see. I think there's 2 more questions, but let's. I think we should proceed with the slides. The time is almost up. Okay, so now we'll talk about the threat intelligence services. But okay, Cyber Chief, I see you. I was about to ask that if there was any question, but I saw your thumbs up. Okay, Gabriel, I see you. Heat. Okay, heat. So now, Cisco, tell us. Please hold on. Let me fix this. Okay, so let's move on. So now we'll talk about Cisco Talos. But then what exactly do they do? We know Cisco, we know NetAcad. Even we are taking this training through Cisco NetAcad platform. But what do the Talos do? Okay, so they are we can term them as another a subset of Cisco. Okay, but then what they do is to help businesses prepare for and then actually prevent attacks. It's like you are preparing me by showing me that okay, these are the various threats that are emerging, okay, to help me prevent them. Okay, because if this threat is prevalent somewhere else, obviously it would be working. By the time I realize it is really at my let me say it's really close to me. So what I have to if there are maybe indicators of compromise, I need to put them into place. If there are any malicious IP addresses, I need to cut them off. I need to prevent them from infiltrating into the network. I need to block them at the firewall. I hope you get it. So that's just what Cisco Talos does. So what did they say again? I think I've talked about the IOCs. So yeah, they help us to exchange threat information such as vulnerabilities, indicators of compromise, and the mitigation techniques. So not only would they tell us that, oh, okay, these are what is happening, or this is what has happened, but it will help us to mitigate them. The information is only shared with personnel, but also it's not only shared with personnel, but also with security systems. Okay, and then the threats as they emerge, threat intelligence services create and then distribute firewall rules. So I talked about blocking these IPs at the firewall. So obviously, if there's any malicious server, most of the times these attackers they tend to drive people to their malicious websites, to their malicious servers. So if we do not want that to happen, obviously we need to block that IP at the firewall so that there won't be any inflow or outbound traffic to or from that particular that particular IP address or that particular malicious server. Then one such service is the Cisco Talos Threat Intelligence Group. So it's just the same as Cisco Talos. It's just repeating itself. Now, Cisco Talos continuation. I think you saw the Cisco Talos platform here. Okay, so this GB hackers, I told you I follow GB hackers too. What's this? Oh, I think, well, okay, it's this rather. So Cisco Talos, Cisco Talos, Cisco Talos. Yes. So you can see talosintelligence.com. So I'm sure you would have the link in your course. So you can submit IPs, URLs, domain names, network owners, or even file hashes to the intelligence center to identify if there are any emergent threats. You can see some threat researches that have been made. You see ransomware attacks on the rise and all that. So Cisco Intelligence is one good resource to make use of. Let's continue. So yes, this will just be so they are comprised of world-class researchers, analysts, and then engineers. So all of them come together, to help. Like it's a collective effort, right? To gather this data and then make the visualizations. So you are able to better defend or maybe be proactive against these emerging threats. And their goal is to help protect enterprise users' data and then infrastructure from active adversaries. Like I told you from the start, that they help businesses to prepare for threats and then defend against them, prevent them. Just like I said. So this is just pure English, right? Each team collects information about active, existing, and then emerging threats. So whether the threats are active, if they are existing, whether they are emerging threats that are now coming into the system, they collect all this data and then make us informed about it. They also provide comprehensive protection against these. So yes, about the protection, they tell you that this is what's happening, and then they also provide solutions to how to protect yourself. They also have some products that you can use in real time. So I think you have to subscribe to this service, right? Organizations subscribe to the Talos Intelligence Group, okay, to get all these security solutions and also some free software services, okay. But then all these services are for free, okay. They maintain security incident detection rule sets for the snort.org, and then so these are free open source platforms. Snort is they say it's an intrusion prevention system, but well, we all know that Snort detects, but we have been told that it is a prevention system. And then there's Clam AV2. So how how Cisco helps in this is that they use a certain feature in Snort called a pulled fork, which is used to get recent detection. So recent rules, for the Snort intrusion prevention system. Okay, so that is how they actively maintain Snort, because Snort is an open source kind of platform. But if it's open source like that, and then if you have a company like Cisco behind your behind an open source project, like you can't just go without it. You should see that like there's some kind of backing behind it, so they actively maintain it, and then for security purposes, for everyone to be updated with latest detection rule sets. At this point, is there any question? Or I'm moving fast. I just want to beat the time. So sorry. Is there any question, please? If there's no question, you can indicate with a thumbs up so that we get this through. Okay, Manu, I see you. Thank you very much. Cyber Chief, I see you. Shatalisa, I see you. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, Gabriel, I see you. Vanessa, I see you. Victor. So where can I find the recap of the class? Okay, so the recordings will be shared, right? The recordings would be shared. It's every class is recorded, right? So it will surely be shared. It will surely be shared. Don't worry at all. It will surely be sent. It will be shared with you all. So about threat intelligence services, okay, FireEye is one of these services. So what do they do? Let's see. So they are another security company that offers services to help enterprises secure their networks. So just like how the communities tell us that, oh, okay, these are the various threats that are emerging. These services help us to what? Protect against these threats. But FireEye uses a three-pronged approach, combining security intelligence. So what? They are aware of the current threat landscape. You see, they have expertise in terms of security. They have researchers. They have, all those people to help in defending against those threats. Then they also have the technology to back them up. Okay. They offer SIEM and then SOAR. So SIEM is security information event management. Oh. And then the SOAR adds to the capabilities of SIM. Okay. SOAR adds to the capabilities of SIM, and then they are all integrated to the Helix security platform. The Helix security platform is more of so it's hosted on the cloud, right? It's cloud hosted, so it's not kind of something that it's they have like say if it's hosted physically or in the how do I even put it? But I'm sure you understand the cloud, right? It's hosted on the cloud, okay, and then they use behavioral analysis. So one thing one thing about this, right? Behavior analysis. Okay, let me see. I'll come back to that. Let's try. They make use of this behavioral analysis and then advanced threat detection, which is supported by the FireEye Mediant Worldwide Threat Intelligence Network. So one thing about behavioral analysis is it tends to look at how, let's say, if it's a malware, how that malware behaves. Okay, what it does. So most of the times, in terms of data forensics or even threat intelligence, what it does, like its behavioral analysis, right? Sometimes it's deployed in a virtualized environment, okay, so that it won't be able to interact with so this can be even hosted on the cloud, so that with that one, it's not interacting with any of your personal details and all that, and it's actively monitored. So there's one thing called a baseline, okay. A baseline is first set. It's like you taking a screenshot of your initial system, right? You've taken a screenshot of it, and then you've also taken, no, you first take that screenshot. So that will be your baseline for your analysis. Because let's say you knew someone, the person was 3 years old, the person went to Canada, the person came back, is 19 years old. You can obviously say that this guy, when I knew him, he was very short. but now he's what, very tall. You see, but if you hadn't seen him at first, you wouldn't get that kind of understanding that this is how he was and then this is how he is now. So one thing about behavioral analysis, it tends to show us what's changed or what changes the malware. If it's a malware that is being analyzed, what changes it makes on the platform which it is hosted. So let's say if you're hosting it on a cloud, you're trying to analyze it on a cloud platform. Oh, okay, sure, instructor me. If you're trying to analyze it on a cloud platform, right, you first need to take your baseline. So the baseline is just like a screenshot you've taken. Then you try to execute the malware, but then you have a support from other tools, okay? Other tools, there's the Windows 6 internals tools like Process Explorer and all that you can use it to see what changes this malware made to your local machine. Sometimes malware adds files to your machine. It tends to change files. It does a whole lot of things. It contacts other IP addresses. Easy. So if you want to get all this understanding, it's through behavioral analysis. Okay. There's also one thing called signature based. So when we get here, I'll talk about that. Now, so the Helix platform that I was talking about, it's actually here. The cloud hosted is I actually said it before. I didn't even realize it was here. So it's a cloud hosted security operations platform that combines diverse security tools and threat intelligence into one single platform. Okay, it's just as simple as ABC. And then the FireEye security system blocks attacks across web and then email threat actors. So whatever is passing through the web, passing through the email, is first analyzed and then blocked to make sure that there are no attacks against our network. It's also okay, and then latent malware that resides on file shares. So in this case, latent malware that resides on file shares, to evade detection, sometimes attackers embed malicious executables within documents, within PDFs, within, like, they do it in such a way that they want to evade detection. Because if you are trying to, send the malware in just like that, obviously it would go through some, like, the security, systems will really bounce it. It will bounce it off like a bouncer in a, how do I call it? Those how do I call it? Who can help me? Who can help me out? I don't know, those clubs, restaurants and all that. They have bouncers that, if you are maybe not up to that kind of age, they'll tell you, no, you are not supposed to come here, go back. So that's what it does. It blocks it because you can't. So that's one of the ways and the means. Yes, exactly, Peter. Thank you very much. That's what they do. They embed malicious executables in file shares so that they can be able to evade detection. But still, this FireEye security system blocks them. I hope you get it. It can also block advanced malware that easily bypass traditional signature-based defenses. Now, we first talked about behavioral. Okay, Cyber Chief, I see you. We first talked about behavioral analysis, right? Now, if you talk about signature-based defenses, signature is in such a way that, okay, we first seen this threat. Okay, we know that it has this name, it has this file hash. So signature-based detection is made in such a way that if this file is coming in again, it is compared with a database that has like its features, like its file hash and all that. Okay, so if it compares and it says that, oh, it's the same signature, then it bounces it off. That is just what it does. It compares it with known threats. So one limitation about this is that it doesn't give us what is ahead. It doesn't help us to stay proactive. It just keeps us, it keeps us in such a way that what is happening recently or what has happened, it compares it out. If it's the same, then you are bounced off. If it's the same, then you are bounced off. Okay, but unlike behavioral analysis, whereby it depends on what the malware does on the system, to be able to understand it and then defend proactively against it. So it can block advanced malware that easily bypasses traditional signature-based defenses. Because once you say, okay, if it is equal to 1, block it. So now if it's equal to 1.1, it will what? It will pass through. You see, and then compromise enterprise networks. Okay. Now it also addresses all stages of an attack lifecycle with a signatureless engine utilizing state stack analysis to detect zero-day threats. So zero-day threats are one thing that attackers are also making of, because if you are vulnerable, it will be hard to defend against that. But almost every known vulnerability has a defense mechanism for it. So they are actively like what has found yet, how can I combine these two? There was a recent security update whereby I think not attackers, so it was researchers, right, that were able to combine two different CVEs. They use two different proof of concepts to bypass security measures set in place for WhatsApp. Okay. So one thing about this is they exploited a zero-day vulnerability because they added two different ways to infiltrate into the network. That hasn't been done before. Sorry, that hasn't been done before. And then when we talk about the stages of the attack lifecycle, this one will take us far back to the cyber kill chain. Sorry, my voice is almost out. But are you here with me? If you are here with me, you can indicate with a thumbs up. I feel like I'm moving fast. Okay, Eric, I see you. Cyber Chief, I see you. Collins, I see you. Vanessa, okay. Okay, sure. I'm coming. Let me get some water first. Okay, so we can continue. So what was I even talking about? Okay, Victor, I see you. Uh, I'm lost. I'm lost. I was saying so much that uh it addresses all stages. Yes. So I was talking about the attack life cycle, right? And I was saying that it will take us back to the cyber kill chain. Okay. It was even developed by who? His name is Lockheed something. Yes, I don't really keep people's names in my head. But then one thing about it is that it just identifies and then prevents cyber intrusions based on what, like the very steps that attackers take. Okay, the steps that they take, so that is their attack life cycle. And then one thing about the attack life cycle is that immediately at a point they are stopped, the security analyst has achieved his goal. Okay, because an attacker must complete all the stages of the attack life cycle before he can say that, okay, he has gotten his goal, or he has been able to exploit the system, he has been able to exfiltrate files. I hope you get that point I'm trying to make. Okay. So it helps it helps me, it helps you, it helps everyone on this call as defenders to understand the various techniques, the tools, and then the procedures attackers use. Okay, so the tactics are their what, the techniques are their how, their procedures are their various. Let's talk of their tools. The tools that they use to perform their operations. Okay, So there are the stages, I think it's about 7, starting from reconnaissance, then they go to the weaponization, they deliver, they exploit, they install, then they set up their command and control system, and then they now look for actions on objectives. So the actions on objectives is just like now I've gained everything that I need. What do I I've gained access into everything of the target. Now what am I taking out? What am I infiltrating? What am I exfiltrating rather? What am I taking out of the organization? The various files, the various important documents that I have to take from the organization. So those are the various stages of the attack life cycle. Is there any question at this point, please? It's already 9. Is there any question? If not, so that we proceed and I finish out very quickly. Okay, I think there's no question. Let me proceed. So yes, another threat intelligence service is the AIS, or we just call it the automated sharing. Okay, so we have been told that it's a U.S. Department, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security offers a free service called the Automated Indicator Sharing, that is AIS. Okay, but it's not just, if we say the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, it's not like clearly stated, okay, because it's a program that is run by CISA, right? Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. It's run by them, you see, and then that is rather part of this U.S. Department of Homeland Security, okay? And then they offer this service called the Automated Indicator Sharing. So what is this AIS? It enables the real-time exchange of cyber threat indicators such as malicious IPs, sender email addresses, you see, all that between the US federal government and the private sector. So that's just about the EIS. Okay, they help in such a way that they give out real-time threat indicators from the US federal government to the private sector. Okay, I think they have states that I think if they don't subscribe, I'm not sure it's a subscription kind of thing, but it's more of an agreement that they go. Yeah, because it's not everyone that benefits from it though, but there are various communities, or let me say organizations or nations that are able to benefit from it. They also create an ecosystem where as soon as a threat is recognized, it is immediately shared with the community to help protect them, their networks from that threat. So immediately they find out that, oh, this IP address was trying to brute force a login page. It was trying to access file shares. Maybe there was an SMB, protocol that was active. They wanted to, exploit the file shares and all that. They give out that kind of information as what threat intel out there so that everyone can protect their networks. Now, I think we talked about this from the start, right? MITRE, and then with the common vulnerabilities and then exposures database that I told you about is that it's like a vault. Okay, it's like a vault that has security threats in it, but then it's kind of the CVE is kind of give it a unique name that can be able to we can be able to identify it, because we can't just sit and say that that's vulnerability that was exploited. They use this and that, they use that and that. You see, but this gives it a unique name. So yes, it's maintained by the MITRE Corporation, and then it's a catalog of known security threats. Yes, and it serves as a dictionary of common names, like I said. And they also define unique CVE identifiers for known vulnerabilities. That makes it easier to share data. So that's when you see something like CVE 2025. So the first thing is the year, maybe you see some numbers attached to it. Okay, so that's when you see this kind of thing. It helps to identify security threats. Now, threat intelligence communication standards. 9:12. I think I should be ending around 9:30. So yeah, I should be ending in 18 minutes from now, please. But up to now, is there any question? Ishatamoni, please. What time do I have to end? Or I've already passed time. I think she's not here. So let's just continue. Let's just continue, okay? So now we talk about the communication standards. So yes, let me give you a clear view of this. Okay, you see, when we talk about threat intelligence, I told you that different kind of organizations come together. They share their, let's say, if it's firewall logs, IDS logs, all those logs, that entails port scans, maybe trying to access open file shares and all that. They come together, but every organization, you see, has their ways and a means of giving out this information. Okay, so let's say an organization can say that maybe, where can I even type on this? So you can say that maybe domain is equal to Cisco.com. Okay, another organization can also say URL is equal to Cisco.com. Now, this, although we are all talking about Cisco.com, URL and then domain are different, you see, which will cause problems in trying to automate the process of sharing these threat intel. So that is why there is the need to standardize this data. Okay, so that data coming from this organization and then this organization will be made like a standardized, it will be turned into a standardized format. Okay, so that we can't be able to automate its sharing, and then the sharing too, it's done through automated Python scripts. Okay, so they do that through those. And so that's just about the threat intelligence, sorry, threat intelligence communication standard. Let me remove this. Yeah, so organizations and then professionals must share information to increase knowledge about threat actors and the assets they want to access. So yes, and then the assets they want to access. So if they want to maybe enumerate file shares, you see, those are the assets that they want to access. Now, several intelligence sharing open standards have evolved to enable communication across multiple networking platforms. That's like what I just told you. And those standards enable the exchange of CTI, that's cyber threat information, in in an automated, consistent, and a machine readable format. Like I said, automated, they use scripts like Python scripts to do that in a consistent form. So it must not be like this organization is submitting data as the domain is equal to Cisco.com, and then another one is submitting it as URL is equal to Cisco.com. No, it's not supposed to be that way. See, else it would cause errors in standardizing that data. Okay. What else? Okay, so there is 3 common threat intelligence sharing standards, and then they include the following. Now, if you see this, right, it's nothing. Okay, you shouldn't be confused at all. Now, let's start with Cyborgs. Cyborgs is simply cyber observable expression. Okay, cyber observable expression. There's a small e at this point, but it's written simply like this. Okay. Then they define it as what a set of standardized schemas for so the main thing here is what specifying, capturing, characterizing, and then communicating events and then properties of network operations that supports many cybersecurity functions. But with this standard, right, at first, what it does was to it correlates the technicality. So let's talk about what's let me say let's say the technicalities like IPs, file details, you see, those kind of things. That's what they specify, they capture them, they characterize them, and then they communicate those things. But then at a point, this particular standard was integrated into sticks. Okay, at this point, you see it here that the cyborg standard has been incorporated into sticks. So although you see it as a standalone here, just imagine it this way that they've put it into this particular sticks. Now, stakes refers to a structured threat information expression, and then they defined it in a certain huge way that even if you read, it might sound some way. A set of specifications for exchanging cyber threat information between organizations. Okay, it's even quite understandable. But let's look at Taxi 2. It tells us that what the specification for an application layer protocol. So in the OSI model, the application layer protocol is the toppest. So that's where you find the HTTPS, HTTP, FTP, you see, those protocols. And it allows the communication of CTI over HTTPS, like I said. So those protocols are found on the application layer of the OSI model. And Taxi is designed to support sticks. Now, sticks, take the S. Okay, the S is already, it has already been stated to us. It's what structured. So every data that, so like this cyborgs would provide that particular data. So data points, think of various threat indicators, okay, like IPs, IOCs, indicators of compromise, all of that, right? They put it in a structured kind of way. I talked to you about URL and then domain being different. Okay. Stakes makes it was structured so that it could enable the exchange of this threat information between organizations. Because if one from this organization is this way and another one is differently, it would automatically not, it wouldn't make sense. It would be some kind of like gibberish. I hope you get it. So when you see stakes, just take this as, for me, that is how I am able to understand it. Okay, just take this as and then map it to what structured. It makes the data that is collected being what structured. I hope you get it. So you might see it this way, but it's the explanation or what it's trying to tell us is very, very simple. But Cisco, they'll put a thing there so with so much words that you might think that it's saying something else. Okay. At this, before I move to Taxi, please let me know if I'm making sense. I can't see the number of people on the call, or I don't know if everyone has left or something, but if you are still there, kindly indicate with a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute and then ask. Okay, Cyber Chief, I see you. Okay, Collins, I see you. Ajao, I see you. Okay. Emmanuel, okay. Nimota, Eric, okay. I see you all. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's proceed. So now let's come to this application layer, blah, blah, blah. They tell us that what it's a specification for an application layer protocol. Now what it allows the communication of CTI over HTTPS. Now, Stakes has been able to keep that data in what a structured format. But how do we get it to other organizations? That's where what Taxi comes in. Take it like the normal taxi you pick to anywhere you want to go. So after structuring the data, this taxi sends it from one destination to the other destination over what? HTTPS. Please, am I making sense? Or should I come again? Okay, Eric, I see you. Should I come again? I will take it again though, but I want to see if like what I just said makes sense. Okay. If it doesn't make sense, just indicate with a thumbs down. I even like thumbs downs than thumbs ups. So indicate with a thumbs down. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Achao. So what I was saying was that we take sticks and then taxi. We are being told that what they are what communication standards for what threat intelligence, right? Sticks keeps that kind of data. So most of the times we call them what sticks objects. So we can talk about the IOCs, like what kind of threat actors, the attack patterns, like is it malware, if you look at those kind of things. So it's kept in a structured kind of way, structured because every data or every log coming from different organizations, IDS logs, firewall logs, and all that. It's not the same everywhere. Like it's format. I hope you get it. So what this six standards does is that it makes it what structured. That's why I told you that if you see sticks, just take out the S and then map it to what structured. It keeps it in a structured form to enable what exchanging of that information between organizations. So once it's in a structured form, it can be what exchanged. But before you can exchange it, it's like um you've gone to the market, you've been able to what buy some oranges. There were some that were bad in it, and then you remove them to what structure it out. You remove the bad oranges to what structure it out. Now you are done. You need to go back home. How do you go back home? That's when you pick what? You pick a taxi. You get it? When you're done buying those mangoes or oranges or whatever, removing the bad ones to make it structured. You see, now you need to what? Go back home. You pick a what? A taxi. But in this case, the taxi is what's trusted automated exchange of indicator information in cyber chief. So yes, it's easy. It's very simple. Okay, it's very very simple. If you get this analogy, you can just grasp it. Okay, you structure out this standard structures it out, and then the taxi transmits it. It helps you. It creates that tunnel from that particular point at the market where you bought those oranges to your house over what HTTPS. So over HTTPS means that when you're sitting in the taxi, you are secure. Unlike maybe if you're transmitting it over HTTP, maybe when it gets to a certain point in time, armed robbers will get to, they will cross you on the road and then tell you to get out of the taxi and all that. No, you are secured in that taxi over HTTPS. I hope you get it. And you are being told that what taxi is designed to support sticks. So whatever data this sticks standard brings in, taxi does what? It transmits it between organizations. Am I making sense now? Okay. Yes, so that is just for the communication stand. Okay, thank you very much, Eric. So let's proceed then. It's very, very much simple. Okay, so when you just get the S part and then your taxi, you are good to go. You buy your oranges, you filter out the bad ones, you take your taxi over HTTPS, you arrive at your destination. Okay, so let's go on. Now, the continuation states that what these open standards provide the specifications that aid the automated exchange of the cyber threat intelligence information in a standardized format. So I talked about the standardization, removing the bad oranges from the good ones. Okay. Even if, okay, maybe someone might not like oranges, so mangoes, apples, whatever. I hope you get it. Now, MISP comes in here. So what's an MISP? Malware Information Sharing Platform. Okay. And it's an open source platform, right? So it's accessible by all for sharing indicators of compromise for newly discovered threats. MISP is supported by European Union and then it's used by over 6,000 organizations globally. So just think of it like a very big screen, okay, that helps you visualize cybersecurity threats as they are being discovered. Okay, they also enables automated sharing of IOCs between people and then machines by using what sticks and then other export formats. So I told you sticks, that's oh god. I told you sticks, that's what it structures the data out. You get it, and then it gives it to what the taxi to send you back home. I think Miss, let's check. Let me check MISP. Let me just open. So yes, this is their website, okay. Yes, exactly as I said, they visualize the threat landscape, okay. They use automation, you see, they simplify the alerts, they give you, what did they say? Sharing is key, yes, they share with you. It's open source, it's free to anyone at all. Then they help you what? They visualize what threats as they happen in real time. So you can just, if you are interested, you can download and then install, blah, blah, blah. They have virtual images used for testing and then, so that is just about the MISP. Let's continue. I think we are almost done. Yes, we are almost done. 2 minutes more. Let's go. So there are many sources of threat intelligence information, which may have its own data format. So we talked about the sources of threat intelligence, where we get them from. Remember those SANS, those MITRE, they are the communities, they are the sources. Sources like, let's say if someone calls you right now and then gives you an information that your visa has been approved to, is the what is the source of that information, the source of that intelligence. Okay, so accessing and then using multiple threat intelligence. Oh, what am I doing? Accessing and then using multiple threat intelligence sources can be very time consuming. So what do we do to help us out? We must to help us out, make the best use of threat intelligence. Those TIPs have what evolved. So how have they evolved? A threat intelligence platform then centralizes the collection of this threat data from numerous data sources and then formats. Okay, so it's like one big platform that collects all this data and then works on it, analyzes it. I hope you get it. Then these major types of threat intelligence data, that's the first is IOC, indicators of compromise. The second is tools, techniques, and then procedures. So those are the sorry, those are what the attacker bases is everything on. And then the third is the reputation information about the internet destination or the domain. So how the reputation about those domains that we are talking about. And the volume of the threat intelligence data can be very, very overwhelming. So that's one thing about threat intel. It could be very, because imagine an organization is producing a whole bunch of logs. All these logs, how can they be, it will be very, very overwhelming, because dealing with logs, like they are even just one organization, right? The logs that they produce, and then thinking of adding each organization to it. So you can think of that kind of overwhelming they are talking about. Let me bolden this. Let me bolden it, because it could be very, very overwhelming. I hope you get it. So the threat intelligence platform is what designed to aggregate that data. Okay, so you remember they told us that what to make us, because it can be very, very much time consuming, but they are telling us that what we can be able to centralize the collection of that threat data to what aggregate it in one place, and then most importantly presents the data in a comprehensive and a usable format. I hope it makes sense. You can indicate with a thumbs up. No, If you don't understand, please indicate with a thumbs down. I beg you. It concerns me a lot. Please, if you don't understand, indicate with a thumbs down. It seems like I have no one on the call. Oh, okay, so it means that all of you understand. Okay, Oluwake, please, you can unmute and then ask your question, okay? If you don't understand anything, please unmute and then ask your question. We are all here to learn, okay? I'm begging you. I'm on the floor. I'm I'm rolling on the floor, begging you to ask your question, please. Or you want to type it into the chat box? Let me check the chat box. Okay. I think the last message is, yeah, I responded to Ajao. The class, I think it's supposed to, yeah, it's supposed to end at, I think, 3. Sorry, it's supposed to be 2 hours, right? That's what I'm sure of. But that's how I'm trying to finish up very quickly because I've gone over time. But I just need you guys to understand it. Okay, that's just why I've gone over time. I was planning to go over time by 30 minutes. I don't really know if it was to hold for 3 hours, okay. But I was thinking about 2 hours, 2 hours max, okay, Cyber Chief. So we are already done. You can see your head won't blow. No worry, guy. Your head won't blow, guy. Your head won't blow. It's just you know 2 hours. That's what they said. Okay. Oh, we are already done. So if you feel like you are already tired, you can leave. Okay, you can leave, please, because the recording will be shared as well. But you can see it's just left with this slide. This slide is a lab which I'm not going to treat. It's just a research lab. So I'll just talk about this. Then we are done. To summarize it, we've already talked about everything, so we are already done. Okay, so let me just end with the last slide. Then we go in and have some rest, please. So let's continue. So now, okay, so still about threat intelligence platforms. Organizations can contribute to threat intelligence by sharing their intrusion data over the internet, typically through automation. So that's why I told you Python scripts come into play. So they can be able to use that to share all these logs, the firewall logs, the IDS logs that are generated by the organizations, so that if you know that this is what's happening here, you can be able to better protect yourself in another country. Okay, and then many threat intelligence services use subscriber data to enhance their products. So subscriber data here is one thing that an organization does. I'm trying to remember that organization. So what they typically do is that once you subscribe to their products, okay, they ask you to sign an agreement that, let's say, if they offer security products, okay, so think of email scanners, you know web scanners and all that. So if those antivirus softwares or security systems set in place are, you have subscribed to them, you are paying, and then you are using their tools to work, you are automatically sending data to their database, okay. And then if you come across, so let's say if their security tools scan your device or your network and they identify various malicious softwares or anything malicious, automatically it sends as a report to their cloud platform. They work on it, they analyze that data, and then show it off in this thing on a threat map. Okay, that this is what is really happening on our network. Honeypots are also simulated networks and servers that are designed to attract attackers. Okay, so honeypots are most of the times deployed so that we can study the various new techniques that attackers have made. And then most of the time, these honeypots are hosted via cloud so that it doesn't have any connection with production systems, right? Then the attack-related information gathered from honeypots can be then shared with the threat intelligence platform subscribers by hosting honeypots itself can, no, but hosting honeypots can itself be a risk. So the risk is when I told you that if you host it on your production system, it will definitely be a risk. So it's best to host honeypots on cloud platforms, and then you'll be able to, it's like you recording what an attacker will do to your production systems as threat inscribers so that they can watch. If there are any indicators of compromise, if there are any IPs, they block them on their firewalls, and then all that. Now, basing a honeypot in cloud, so yes, just what I said. What isolates the honeypot from production networks, and then this approach is what an attractive alternative for gathering threat intelligence. I hope you got that. So using honeypots is really attractive because it's like you watching what the attacker will do to your network. Okay, you set a trap for the attacker, and then the attacker is falling inside. You are just collecting data and then using it to proactively defend yourself against them. So here is just the lab, it's a research work. We started with the first one already, but this one, yeah, it's just a research work. In the summary, we talked about all these. Yes, we talked about all these, and then ends. So what did we learn in this? We've learned so much. You can even verify from here. We learned everything, starting from the AIS, what they do, automated indicator sharing. We came to the stakes. For this, please don't forget, I'm begging you, stakes and then taxi is very, very much easy. S for what? Structured, and then taxi to pick you from your market to your destination over HTTPS. Okay, and then yes, the open standards that provide specifications that aid in automated exchange of the cyber threat intelligence information in a standard format. So it comes back to what sticks. So I think there's nothing else. So yes, thank you very, very, very much. If there's any question, you can let it come in. Let me. Oh, thank you very much. I can see you all. Thank you very much. Oh yes, so it would be the recording would be given to everyone. Let me stop sharing my screen. Let's see. I'm coming. Okay. Wow. So so all of you were on the call. Is there any question, please? So, Sulaim, I hope I mentioned your name well. The recording would definitely be provided to you. It would definitely be provided. And I want to thank everyone who has been on this call from the start till the end. I saw you all. I saw everyone giving the thumbs up, following, and all that. And I just hope that the explanations that I gave tends to let you get a bit more clear, or let me say a bit more you get that kind of insights, the kind of umbrella we are. Okay, yes, Emmanuel, thank you very much. You can ask your question. Oh, Emmanuel,
Good evening, sir.
good evening, sir.
So please, what's the name of that software again? Local what?
Oh, it's local security policy. Local security policy.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. So yeah, once again, I thank everyone for making it to today's section. I am very sorry that I took a lot of your time, over, let me say, 40 minutes. Right now, I went past time 41 minutes, and I'm very sorry about that. But thank you very, very, very much for this session. You made it very, very, your reactions made it very, very much worth it. Okay, so thank you very, very much. Instructor Moni, are you there? You are welcome, Sherifa. You are welcome. Oh, you're welcome, Cyber Chief. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Instructor Money, are you there? Okay, so in the absence of instructor, oh, you're welcome. You're very, very much welcome. Ajao, you're welcome. And then thank you all too for making it a very, very much insightful. And I would, Instructor Esther, Instructor Lisa, thank you very much. I would like to end the meeting here so that we can move ahead with daily activities. You're welcome, Vanessa. You're welcome. Thank you very much, Eric. So officially, we've ended the meeting. You are free to leave, please. Thank you.